Mr. Frank Manley. He's gonna come and talk to us about, you know, do's and don'ts, different things, you know what I'm saying? What we do when dealing with law enforcement, when they get stopped and different things like that. So right now I'm just calling Mr. Manley up. He can go ahead and get started with whatever he's gonna do. What was that?
Mr. Butt.
The problem's not back here. The problem's right here. I'm your problem. What was that? Does anybody know what that was? You're sitting in this church. All of us are here right now, but we don't know what that was. Do you know what it was? What's your name? I can't hear you. What's my name? You don't know. What's my mama's name? Wait a minute. You don't know who my mama is? How about you? What's your name? I can't hear you. What's your name?
Taisha.
What's my mama's name?
No.
You don't know why don't you know my mama's name?
Tell me.
I didn't tell you. Wait a minute, I know somebody right here. What's my mama's name?
I don't know.
You don't know? Do you know your name?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Corey.
Good. Then what's my mama's name?
I don't know.
You don't know my mama's name?
No.
You don't know what that was?
No.
Scared you, didn't it? How did you like me yelling at you? Did that sound nice or did that sound kind of mean? So it sounded kind of mean. When you heard that noise coming from the back, what did that do? Anybody? You? Why'd you jump? Okay, good. How about you? What'd you think when you heard that noise in the back? You looked back there and you said, what?
What is that?
Okay, make sure they can hear you. What'd you say?
What is that?
All right. How about you, young man? What's your name?
Jamal.
Your name is Jamal? I can't hear you.
Yes, sir.
A little louder.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. What'd you think it was?
Somebody dropped something.
Somebody dropped something. So we got scared. We didn't know. Somebody dropped something. We had no clue. Nobody knew what my name was. Nobody knew who my mama was. You want to know why? How in the world can you know who my mama is when you don't even know me? How can you know who I am when this is the first day in life that any of us have laid eyes on each other? Would you think that'd be a fair statement? I can't hear you. Would you think that'd be a fair statement?
No.
All right. So, imagine that you are a police officer. You're not at a church waiting for somebody to come speak to you. It's 10 o'clock at night. And you get a call on the radio, and they say they got a problem down on 10th Street. So you show up to 10th Street. You got loud noises that you don't know where they're coming from. You got people talking and screaming, and you don't even know who they are. Police are humans too. So the fear that you felt, the unknowing that you had, the concern that you showed, is the same thing the police officer is going to have when he comes. We have to remember that. When we're dealing with a police officer, we have to remember he does not know us. Do I got a knife in my pocket?
I don't know.
No, I got a box cutter, and I'll cut you. You don't know what somebody has in their pocket. You're the police, remember? You just got there. You didn't know their name. You didn't know what's going on. You got loud noises. Now you got a fool with a box cutter in his pocket. Why, you didn't know that. So when you are out in the public and you are being talked to by a police officer, you need to be cognizant of those things. You need to understand how you act is how you're going to believe. If you act like an idiot, screaming, yelling, and cursing, they will believe you. Come on up here, young lady. Let me borrow you for a second. Come on. You're going to be the police officer. And all I want you to do is to tell me, can you speak with me? See how simple that was? She said, "Sir, can I speak with you?" And I said to the officer, "Sure, officer, how can I help you?" Now, I want you to ask me again, can you speak to me?
Sir, can I speak with you?
What you want, Pope? Why you always gotta bother me when I'm walking down the street? I ain't done nothing to you. Now, which way do we think is the right way to address the police? Which one would you think would be the best acting? Go ahead.
First one.
The first one. How come? Because it's not rude and you're yelling at the police officer. This young man got it 100% correct. Give him a hand. Give him a hand. That's exactly right. Why in the world would I scream at this man or this young lady here? She got a badge. She got a gun. She may have a stick. Some of them have knives that they put on their pistol belt. Why in the world would I act like that? All she asked me was what? May I speak to you? How come I have to be a complete knucklehead and scream and yell? Who has Facebook in this room? Raise your hand. A little high, I can't see. Well, I know the little ones shouldn't have Facebook. That's good. All right, put your hands down. I got Facebook. And on Facebook, I see videos about the police all the time. And they're saying the police did this wrong. And the police did that wrong. Well, let's talk a little bit about the police. I'm going to talk to you about policy, procedure, and law. You can have a seat, young lady. I'll say again, one more time. Policy, procedure, and law. So repeat after me. Policy,
Policy,
procedure,
procedure,
and law.
and law.
Those are the things that you need to think about when you're dealing with the police. Let me explain. Policy. It is the policy of, what's the name of this church? I forgot.
Providence.
Of Providence Police Department to use a nightstick to effect arrest. Procedure. How do we use it? I will hit you with this nightstick in the thick parts of your body. Preferably not in the joints and not in the head. I don't want to hit you on the head because that might kill you. And how can I do all of that? Because the law says I can. So when you see these folks on Facebook and these videos, or you're hearing on TV, and you see the police officer just whacking away on somebody, you say, I don't like that. That looks too mean. You can't do that. Well, you are wrong. If I am trying to arrest you because you have broken the law, yes, indeed, I can use this. I can hit you with this stick. It is called a compliance tool. This is a compliance measure. This is what I can use to make you do what I want you to do. As a police officer, if I walk up to you and I say to you, young lady, you're under arrest. That's it. I don't have to tell you again. I don't have to sit there and explain it to you. I don't have to have an argument back and forth with you. I have to let you know one time. Now, most officers will tell you more than once. If they have to arrest you, they'll let you know when you're under arrest. And you'll say no. And I say, well, you're under arrest. But you'll say no. And I say, well, now listen to me. You're under arrest, and you need to put your hand, turn around, put your hands on your back because I don't want to have any problems. Some may do that, but the law says I only have to tell you once that you're under arrest. And if you tell me no, tell me no. I can't hear you.
No.
She said no. Guess what she has just done? She has resisted arrest. Right. She has broken the law. She resisted arrest. He said, wait a minute, she didn't do anything. Oh, yes, she did. Because you can resist arrest without violence. Now, if she tries to fight me, that would be resisting arrest with violence. But if she just tells me no one time, she has resisted arrest. People get caught up all the time talking about the Constitution of the United States says that I have freedom of speech. Not when dealing with the police, people. You do not have freedom of speech when you're dealing with the police. Let me explain to you why. Remember how I was when I first came up here when I was screaming and getting in folks' faces and carrying on? Folks, there's a law for that. You got disorderly conduct, causing a public disturbance. You can be arrested for all those things. So what does that say about your freedom of speech? The most powerful weapon that you have is this gray matter between your ears. There's nothing more powerful than that. These don't matter, because it doesn't matter how tough you think you are. There's somebody out there that can whoop you. If you run around picking fights all the time, sooner or later you're going to pick the wrong person.
Amen.
And they're going to beat the brakes off you. Let me tell you something else you can't do. You will never win a fight with the police. 100 out of 100 times you will lose, even if they're wrong. You don't get to decide if you're arrested or not. If you're doing, I'm looking at you guys out here, I don't see no knuckleheads. I don't know, I got this thing about me, I can tell a knucklehead, my radar go up, knucklehead to the right. I don't see any knuckleheads. But the things that I'm telling you today, you got some friends that you go to school with, and I bet you know they're knuckleheads. Take this information back to your friends. Take it to your parents, share it with them. Because it's very important. The police are not your enemy. So don't treat them like they're your enemy. Because if you do, you can end up like Mike Brown. You can end up like Eric Garner. I see people on Facebook and in my communities just saying, well, those police were wrong. They just choked poor Eric Garner, and he didn't do nothing wrong. All he was doing was trying to sell some cigarettes. How could you kill a man for selling some cigarettes? Well, you know you're right. You can't kill a man for selling some cigarettes. But he wasn't killed for selling some cigarettes. He was killed in the process of resisting arrest. The same thing that you saw who saw the Eric Garner video? Raise your hand. Eric Garner. And he was in New York. You too little to know. But it was a guy in New York who was apparently stood on street corners and sold single cigarettes for whatever reason. I don't know. And the police tried to arrest him. What did he do? He resisted arrest with violence. Okay? Now, Eric Garner had several officers swarm on him to take him down. Guess what? Perfectly legal. How do I know? Because I've done it. I've done the same thing. As a police officer, I can give you some verbal persuasion to get you to do what I want you to do. If that don't work, I call my buddies. Now there's 4 of us, and we're going to all tell you to do what we want you to do. That don't work. I can pull this out. Or if I've got some OC or pepper spray, I can use that. Or if I've got a stun gun, I can use that. Because let me tell you what doesn't happen. The more you scream, and the more you yell, and the more you curse, and the more you act a fool, does not stop the fact that you are going to be arrested. Now, you can do it like I used to tell them. I used to tell them, listen, you can come with me, or you can come with me. Pick one. And most of the time, they say, I think I'm going to just come with you. Because I was not one of those guys who sat there and asked you 27 times to turn around and put your hands behind your back. If I told you to put your hands behind your back one time, and you wanted to start telling me about the Constitution, and you wanted to start telling me about what the law says that you can't do, while you were in the process of that, I was tossing you up in the air on top of your head, laying on the ground. Clickety, click, click, click. You were in handcuffs, put you in the back of my car, and you cursing me all the way to jail. You can't do that. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I take you in my jail, I put you in my cell. You still cursing. You can't do that. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I leave and go get a sandwich. So all that hollering and all that screaming is absolutely unnecessary. Now, I don't want to keep you here much longer, but I just want you to imagine this. If you were a police officer and all those things that I did when we first started this conversation happened, what would you think? There you go. Out of your mind. We don't need to curse. We don't need to swear. We don't need to yell. And anytime we're ever dealing with the police and they say they want to speak to us, what do we say? Yes, sir. How can I help you, sir? That's all you got to do. Some knuckleheads will tell you, I ain't no punk. Ain't no popo gonna tell me what to do. Yes, I am. Ain't no popo. Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how tough you think you may be. Mike Brown found out the hard way. We talk about, oh, he was unarmed. How can you shoot an unarmed suspect? You want to know why? Because policy, procedure, and law says you can. Now, I done told you, if you leave here, and Brother Butts gives me a phone call, and he says, you know, little Johnny, he in jail. What little Johnny in jail for? Oh, he was out there stealing some cars, and he got caught up. We trying to get some money to bail him out, and all we need is 50 cents. Can you help? I'm telling you, nope. Mm-hmm. Why? Because little Johnny was sitting right here, and I told him what's going to happen if he goes out and he does things like that. I told him that he was going to go to jail. It is not a joke. It doesn't matter what your age is now. They are arresting children as young as these little kids in the back. Little boy just got arrested the other day because he ran up and kissed that little girl. I think they were in the 2nd grade. Yes, that's assault, people. A little kid, babies, if they'll lock him up, what you think they're going to do to you? So, what we want to do, folks, is simply the right thing. The fact that you come to this house of God tells me that somebody and someone cares about you. And you are here, so you want to do the right things. You never have to explain the right thing to do. All you have to do is do it, and it will speak for itself. So without further ado, does anybody have any questions of me? Yes.
So, you said about the Mike Brown situation.
Can't hear you.
You said about the Mike Brown situation.
Yes.
Them shooting him.
Yes.
Was there more approach to the
Well, herein lies our problem. In the Mike Brown situation, the original story that we all heard was that Mike Brown was walking in the middle of the street. Up come the police. Police cursed at him, told him to get out in the middle of the road, this, that, and the other thing. He drove up alongside Mike Brown. He's sitting in an SUV. That sits up pretty high. So I'm in the driver's seat. According to Mike Brown's friend, the cop reached out the window, drugged Mike Brown through the window of the car, and pulled him on top of the cell. Now, one of the things that I used to do, I was the guy that investigated the police when somebody made a complaint against them. You may have heard it called internal affairs. We called it the Office of Professional Standards. And I had to investigate complaints like that. And let me tell you what's not feasible, what's not logical, and what makes absolutely no sense. I'm sitting in a car, in an SUV. I'm going to turn my body, because I can't turn the rest of me, because my legs, you know, right there in the car, I'm sitting down. I'm sitting down, mind you, imagine me sitting down. I'm going to reach through the car window, and I'm going to grab a 6'4", 280 some odd pound man, and I'm going to pull him back. And that means I have to lift him off the ground, people. And I'm going to drag him in on top of me because I want to arrest him. Think about it. Just use a little logic here. I got a gun on my waist. I probably have a knife to cut seatbelts off of people when they get caught in car crashes. I got pepper spray. I got something like this. But I'm going to pull you out of the street through my car window on top of me. Does that make any sense? It makes absolutely no sense. So since it makes absolutely no sense, it didn't happen. Now, did he have a right to shoot this guy? Herein lies the problem. Didn't you say you were scared when you heard that balloon go off? Say it, look, I can't hear you. Did you say that? Okay. How about you? Were you scared or just concerned? What were you? Because you didn't seem like you did. Like, how about you? Were you scared? She says no, it didn't bother her, but she says she was scared. Folks, let me tell you how it works. It's called perception. How did that police officer feel? Did he feel that his life was in danger? Would he have done what any reasonable person would be expected to do? Know this, if you're 6'4", 288 pounds, and you're only 18 or 19 years old, and you're as close to me as this young man is right there, you are a threat to my person. You can harm me. If you can get your big 6'4", 288 pounds on my person, you can take my nightstick and beat me with it. If I got a knife on my belt, you can take that, you can cut me with it. You can reach down here inside and grab my pistol and you can shoot me with it. There's something called a standoff distance. And what that means is, if you are within 10 to 7 feet of me, you can be on top of my body in less than 1 second. 1 second, less than 1 second. So there's all kind of compliance measures. This is a compliance measure. I told you about that. You got pepper spray, it's a compliance measure. I got the tasers, they're compliance measures. And then I have my most deadly compliance measure, which is my pistol. If you're within 7 feet of me, I don't have time to look around. Okay, which compliance measure shall I use? Shall I use my stick? Shall I grab my pepper spray? You're charging me full bore. Evil's in your eyes. You intend to do me harm. The law says I don't have to let you. The law says I can shoot you. And you don't have to have a weapon. All this nonsense we see on TV, we see on Facebook, talk about how about shoot the wound? No such thing. That's in the movies. Starsky and Hutch and all those police shows. You shoot the wound. When you're trained as a police officer to shoot, you're trained to shoot what's called center mass. That's here to here. The reason you shoot center mass is because all the vital organs, your heart, your lung, your kidneys, are where? Where are they located? Can't hear you. There you go. They're located here. So if I'm not intending to kill you, then why do they teach me to shoot you where all your vital organs are at? Because I am going to stop you from harming me, from breaking the law. Police officers are out there to enforce the law, not for you. Believe it or not. They're not out there to protect public safety and this and that and everything else. Even though you'll see on most police cars it says, we're here to protect public safety and everything else, yada, yada. The reality is, police are there to enforce the law. And they have certain tools that are provided to them so they can enforce that law. It's just that simple. Okay, anybody else got a question?
I got a question.
Go right ahead.
And what if, like, when you're driving and then the police stop you and it's like, they kind of seems like kind of hyped up. I don't know, they may have went through a traffic light or whatever, and when they walk up to the car, instead of saying, may I see your driver's license or whatever, they come to me and say, get out the car, get out the car. How's the person, supposed to respond? Should they respond back retaliation or, verbally saying, what are we not out for? Because they're coming at you in a totally different way or in a hostile way.
Right. And what you have to do is,
I've seen that happen too.
oh, it happens. Let me tell you something. There are some knuckleheads wearing a badge out there. I've been black for 52 years. And I'm here to tell you, there are some police out there that are knuckleheads, all right? And when I speak to you about police, people, believe me, I do know what I'm talking about. I was the division chief for the Department of the Army Police. I had 300 federal officers that used to work for me. I hired them and I fired them. I ensured they got their training. I've written 5 different manuals on law enforcement. Believe me when I speak to you, I didn't learn it on Facebook. I'm going to tell you exactly how it goes. Now, to answer her question, if you get pulled over by a police officer and you're driving the car, and he runs up to you and he says, get out the car, yada, yada, yada. You say, yes, officer. Did you do anything wrong? Maybe not. Why is he pulling you over? You really don't know. But if you want to sit there when he says, get out the car, and you say, wait a minute, why I got to get out the car? Why are you stopping me? Whatever the case may be. Well, he may be one of those knucklehead police officers that I was talking about. Or when your son was driving that car, he robbed a store. And it had your license plate. So when he ran the license plate, that was the felony, the robbery that just occurred the other day, and now I've got the suspect because they're driving the car. So while you're thinking this police officer is just being a butthead and whatever the case may be, you may not know all the facts. So what you do, you comply. You say, yes, officer, you get out of the car. If he says, turn around, put your hands on your car, yes, officer. May I ask, what's wrong? Hey, not, ho, ho, why are you on me? Well, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to hear you. When you yell at people, they don't hear you. All they do is they fear you, or they get angry with you. So don't yell. So, yes, officer, how can I help you? Now we're going to find out. He said, well, ma'am, the place on your car, this car here was involved in an armed robbery just day before yesterday. And she said, my son so-and-so had it, or my cousin Bobby had it. And it ain't, because you know what, ma'am, I'm sorry, I apologize, you don't even fit the description. But it was your car. So he did the right thing. But he might just say, don't ask me why I pulled you over. It ain't your business. He might be a knucklehead. He may have had, like she said, a bad day. His wife may have called him on the phone and said, I'm about to leave you. We don't know what happened. And he's just being a butt.
He might say, shut up.
Yeah, he may say, shut up. Don't ask nothing. You know what you do? You say, yes, officer. And these people said, I can't give up my rights. I'm 52 years old. And the police pulled me over today. I used to run the police. I was the #1 police guy. And I told the police what to do. But if I pull out of this parking lot and one of them pulls me out over here on this road and y'all drive by, you'll see me just like this. Yes, officer. How can I help you? Because I don't know why I'm there. And afterwards, if I find out he just pulled me over because he doesn't like bald-headed black guys, now we have a problem. But it's not a problem we're going to deal with on the scene. If I want redress, I can go to that police department and I can file a formal complaint, or I can go get an attorney and say, hey, this is what's happened to me. And that's how we get redress. What we don't do is get pulled over because I'm a bald-headed black guy. And then I tell the policeman, get up off me. I ain't done nothing wrong. The Constitution says that I can do the click, 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 pop, pop, pop. I'm on the ground and I'm handcuffed. Now I'm sitting in the jail cell. And then they find out, they say, wait a minute, what was this traffic stop for? How can I prove he pulled me over because I was a bald-headed black guy? I can't. Now, how am I going to explain that I hit him and start fighting with him? Because he's going to say, hey, it was an illegal turn. I smelled the odor of alcohol or marijuana emanating from the person. I asked him to step out of the car. When I did, he assaulted me. And you didn't hit me. You got it on camera. Always act like you have good sense. Nobody can control your emotions. If me yelling at you makes you react by hitting me in the head with this stick, then I controlled you. You're not going to do anything that's going to make me try to harm you unless I am protecting my life. That's it. When you're dealing with the police, and I don't want you to think that the police are the bad guys. Only 1% of the police in the total United States are responsible for all the complaints. 1%. You probably say, wait a minute, no, that's true. Look it up. You can find, look at FBI statistics, look up anyone. 1% of all the police in the United States are responsible for all the complaints. So that means you got 99% of the cops are out there doing the right thing. But you never know. So you always want to act like a young professional. You want to act like you're a young, intelligent person. Because if you act like a young, intelligent person, chances are I'm going to treat you like a young, intelligent person. If you're ranting and raving and cursing and acting a complete fool, guess what? I'm going to treat you like a complete fool. I hope that answers your question. Anybody else got anything? Oh, what you got, little guy?
What if they pull you over?
I can't hear you. Got to speak a little loud.
What if they pull you over and then you just go?
Okay, what if they pull you over and then you just go? You know what? That's a pretty good question because I've seen several of those on Facebook recently. Here's the deal. If you're old enough to drive a car, or you're in a car with somebody who's driving, and you see in the rearview mirror there's police behind you, pull over. Don't drive 4 more blocks and pull over. Pull over right now. Because if you decide to just keep going like this young man just said right here, you're not going to get away. You can't outrun a radio. You're driving as fast as you can down 27. All I do, hey, I'm in pursuit of such and such car, such and such freeway, at such and such speeds. I'm on such and such. My buddy's 20 miles ahead of you. He's going to jump right on the road and cut you off or get into pursuit too. Never run from the police. In a car or walking. Do not run from the police. I chased a guy for almost 3 blocks once. I chased him. There was a fight at a club, and they were in there just tussling. So I went in there with my compliance tool, and I was getting people to comply. Pow, get your YouTube. And they all began to comply. And as I was dishing out my compliance measure, a wombat, we were outside the building, he just took off running. So, I was young in them days. Now, I ain't chasing nobody. Back in the days, I'd run you down. So I chased him 3 blocks. When I caught that knucklehead, got him in cuffs and brought him back, he ain't got nothing to do with nothing going on. He ain't involved in the fight. He hasn't hit anybody. He hasn't broken any law. I said, son, then why did you run? He said, because where I'm from, you always run when the police come. That's true stuff. Well, we just had an incident, a couple of them, where young men were driving cars. One of them got out of his car and he started to run. The police officer pursued him and shot him in the back. I don't know if you guys heard about that. Yeah, but he got out of his car and he started to run. And the police officer shot him in the back. Guess what? That police officer was 100% wrong. Yeah, whatever it was, and he just took off running. He was wrong. I can't shoot you in the back for running away on a traffic stop. But here's the problem. That police officer, he heard that loud noise. He had that screaming and yelling going on. He got nervous. He got scared. And he pulled out his weapon and he shot. No amount of training in the world can guarantee how somebody is going to respond. They say one of the biggest arguments is, oh, the police need more training. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Well, guess what? If you want to put your life in the hands of someone that you don't know, based on the fact that they're supposed to have training, well, just tell your family, let me know when you're finished, and I'll come by and pay my respects. I don't trust nobody. If your name ain't Jesus, you do not get my full trust. I am not going to rely on your so-called training and for you to do the right thing. I'm going to do the right thing, and that will help you do the right thing. But you never, ever, ever run from the police, because as soon as you start running, guess what I think? I'm not going to shoot you, I promise. I won't shoot you. But I'm going to think you've done something wrong. And I'm going to pursue you. And when I catch up to you, I'm not going to be nice to you. I'm not going to say, turn around, put your hands behind your back. Stop running. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to catch you and plaque right on your face. That's where you're going. And then I'm going to put the cuffs on you. Clickety, clickety, click. And then when I get you secure, knowing that you can't harm me anymore, then I'll ask you what you were running for. Okay, anybody else got any questions? Yes.
Okay, so, when a cop pull you over and they
Can't hear you, can't hear you.
all right, when a cop pull you over and they tell you to get out the car, but you don't, they have the right to protect you.
Her question was, when a cop pulls you over and they tell you to get out the car, and you say no, you don't want to, do they have the right to pull you out the car? Well, let me tell you what I did. We had a traffic stop. I was a duty officer. And I was just happened to be driving by, and I heard that they needed some backup for a traffic stop. So I'm the boss, but that's okay. I pulled up in my car behind him. Come to find out, officer was asking the man for his driver's license, registration, and insurance. The man said, the Constitution of the United States says this, that, and the other thing. In other words, he refused to show his driver's license. He refused to show his insurance. And he said, I am not going to get out of the car. Well, the window was down on the car. And that's what he told me. I ain't giving my license, I ain't giving my insurance, and I ain't giving my registration. While he was saying all that nonsense, I reached through the window of the car, I grabbed him around his collar, and I drug his monkey behind right out that window. And he went face first on the ground, boom, and put the cuffs on. And the entire time, he was telling me all about what I could not do because the Constitution said so. So yes, the police can pull you out of your car. If they tell you to get out and you do not comply, they can pull you out of your car. That answer your question? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm old. Okay. Wait a minute, hold on. Where you guys come from?
They ride with ladies.
Oh, that's perfectly okay. That's perfectly okay. So, does anyone else? Yes, little fella.
Well, I guess
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
mine was like street racing with someone.
Uh-huh.
And the cop was like, there was like a whole crowd of cops.
Uh-huh.
And they just kept running. How, and like there was a whole police force on them. How would they like get him?
Oh, there's all kinds of ways to get you. When you're in a car and you're running and you're going too fast and police get behind you, you're driving. Well, you're not trying to only get away from that one police officer. You're trying to get away from any police helicopters that they got flying around. You're trying to get away from all his police buddies that are out there on the road. And I'm going to call. I've been in a pursuit. I call, hey, I'm pursuing a guy on this street. Give me some backup. Well, they know what street that is, and they know what direction I'm going. So 5 or 6 miles down the road, they're waiting for you. I'll throw some drop sticks out down the road, and it'll pop your tires on your car. Or get behind you, do a pit maneuver. You ever seen on TV, cops, when they hit the back of your car, you flippity, stuff like that? That's what we'll do. That's what's going to happen. Why? Because it is the police's job to enforce the law. Let me explain how that works. Let's say me and this little fella got into a tussle, and we were at the bar, and we're in a tussle, and he's getting the best of me. He's whooping me. Well, I pull out this box cutter, and I cut it. Guess what? Chances are very high, and I guarantee you that I'm going to jail. Now, me and this little fella in a tussle, and he jumps on me, and I pull out my box cutter, and I cut it. When I go to cut him again, she's a police officer, and she shoots me. Chances are very high she is not going to go to jail. Why? Because her job is to enforce the law. So to make sure that I was in compliance with the law that says I cannot cut this young man with this box cutter, she pulled out her pistol, she shot me, put me in compliance with the law because I can no longer cut him. That's how it works. So we have to remember that. Don't ever forget that. Go ahead. Can't hear you.
Let's say if you driving in a car and a police officer pull you over because he thinks you're drunk.
Okay.
And he runs you through all the tests and you pass him on, does he still have the right to take you in?
It depends. Okay. The young man's question was, you're driving down the road and the police officer pull you over because he thinks you're DUI, right? Yeah. Driving under the influence. Now you got to remember there's a couple ways this can go. It can be driving while intoxicated. It can be driving under the influence. Because you can be drunk and scooting around on some 40 or some gin. You can also be high as kite on some marijuana or some meth. But to get to your question, if I pull you over and you pass all my field sobriety tests and you pass my breathalyzer, I should let you go. I should let you go. But you have to remember something. Some people function pretty well. When they're on, if you smell like, one of the things when I pull somebody over, the first thing you write on your report, you say, pulled over Johnny suspect driving a such and such and such on such and such a road. When I approached the vehicle, I noticed the odor of alcohol emanating from his person. I can smell it, or I notice the odor of marijuana emanating from his person. That gives me the probable cause to test you for the drunk driving test or test you for using the drugs. So it depends. They should let you go. But if you were driving all like this, all kind of crazy, and I pull you over and you passed the test, but I pulled you over because you were seriously driving all like this, and then I let you go, and then you do go down 5 miles down the road driving all like this, and you make a young mother crash in a minivan and kill her and her 2 kids. So, what do you think? If you are a danger to the public, I don't have to get you for DUI. I can get you for something else. You cannot drive on the road all over the place and driving 100 miles an hour or driving all kind of craziness, because that's called reckless driving. So if I don't get you for DUI, I'll get you for reckless driving. Next question. Anybody? Before I go ahead.
Okay, so like, if you're on a high-speed chase, and there's somebody in the car, do they go to jail?
It depends. Let me tell you what, something this all of you need to understand this. If you have any friends that use drugs, carry a weapon, be that a knife or a gun, steal cars, burglarize people's houses, and you know all of this, and you get in the car with them, you're a fool.
Okay.
You are a complete fool. Because let me tell you how it works. We have some knuckleheads. They drove up, got pulled over. Come to find out, the guy had a machete under the driver's seat, and he also had a handgun. The handgun wasn't registered. We don't know where it came from. It was stolen. And he said he used the machete because he likes to barbecue a lot. That's what he said. But he was going to a specific woman's house on the base with his machete and his 9mm. He had 2 passengers in the back of the car. All they were doing was getting a ride home. But when they were getting a ride home, they told him that, he told them, I got to make a stop. And I'm going to do something with it real quick and then we'll take you home. Well, long story short, he said the gun wasn't his. The 2 people in the back of the car says the gun wasn't theirs. So guess what happens? I charge you, and you. Because I can't prove who the gun belongs to, so it belongs to all of them.
There you go.
If you got a friend that sells drugs, and there's drugs found in the car, and these are her drugs, but she says, I don't know where they came from, and you say, I don't know, and she says, I don't know, and you say, I don't know, then you are going to jail. Let me tell you something. I'm a knucklehead. I want some money. I want to get some new Jordans. So I decided to rob the local grocery store down here. And you driving, you 2 got my back. So I run inside the store, and I said, give me all that money and candy you got behind that counter. And they tell me, we're going to get you the candy, we're going to get you the candy. Oh, and I get the candy and it ain't enough. So I say, pop! And I shoot him. And then I run out the store. She's still in the car because she's the driver to get away. And these 2 are my backup. They don't even have a gun. Well, guess what? I'm going to get charged with murder. And so are you, and so are you, and so are you. And you were sitting in the car. Oh, wait a minute. I go do it again. And this time these 2 are with me. And I get ready to shoot the clerk because she ain't got enough candy. I said, I'm going to shoot you. Back. Clerk pulls out a gun and shoots me. Bow. Now I'm dead. Guess who gets charged with murder? No, not the clerk.
Y'all too.
These 2. Because they were involved in the commission of a felony that resulted in a death. So guess what? Even though they didn't shoot me, they're the ones getting charged with murder, and the clerk probably gonna get a pay raise. Yeah. So, because the clerk was defending himself. I have a right as a citizen to defend myself. If you come to my home to take my property, and you got a knife or a gun, and you come inside my house, and you want to try to harm me to take my TV or whatever the case may be, you better try Jesus. You better start praying right now. Let him know you're on your way.
So you killed?
Yeah.
Okay, so then your yard, can you still kill him?
No.
That depends.
If they got a gun at your face like that.
If you're in your, well, hopefully this doesn't happen to you. But let me tell you something. And people get in trouble for this. In the state of, well, I don't know about Alabama, but I know it's in the state of Georgia. In Alabama, I don't know how they do theirs, but I would check that law out online. You can easily find out. If someone's in your yard in the state of Georgia, and they are not an immediate threat to your life, no, you can't shoot them. Now, if that person has a gun, and you just happen to be in your yard having a barbecue, and they jump over the fence, and they say, give me them hot dogs, you can shoot them. Because they've got a gun. They have a means to kill you. Yes.
In the state of Alabama, they have to be in your house.
Okay.
In order for you to hurt them.
You shoot them.
But
That's
just
good.
like you said, if they are in your yard and they bring a gun in, then you defend
You can't
yourself.
shoot them.
But
Some states like Texas, and I forgot the other one, where you can, if somebody's on your property, you can shoot them. Yes, yes. There was a guy, give me an example, in Texas. Now, I'm not sure if the law still remains the same. I retired from law enforcement in 2004, so it's been a long time. And some laws may have changed. I can't say for certain. But what I do know, that in Texas, a guy didn't pay his car note. So the repo people came to the house, and the guy was hooking up the car to tow it away. The guy knew that it was the repo man. And he ran out and he shot the repo man. Because the law said that he could shoot you if he was on your property. So the police knew. Now, of course, I didn't know that was the repo man. I thought he was trying to steal a car. He knew good well that was the repo man. But he shot that man, and that man is dead today, and that dude's probably going to Arby's tonight to get some sandwich. Yes.
If you're in the passenger seat and the cops ask you for your ID, do you have to show them?
It depends. If I pull you over and she's driving the car and you're the passenger, most of the time I don't need to see your ID. I don't. Why do I need to see your ID? She was speeding.
That's right.
So I should ask for her registration, her license, and her insurance. That's what I should need to see. Problem. You had 3 or 4 40s before you got in the car. You had, I could smell the odor of marijuana emanating from your person. Or you fit the description of a bolo, I'll be on the lookout report that I had. Young man with the hairdo like this here, with a cut on the side, and then I see you sitting over there. And I ask you for your identification for that reason, because I had probable cause. Let me tell you what you'll never know. You'll never know if the cop has probable cause or not. So if he says to you, young man, can I see your identification as well? Best way to do it is do this number here. Oh, well, you know what? Because I ain't did nothing. I haven't robbed a bank. I haven't shot anybody. I haven't sold any drugs. I know this to be true. So you can look at my ID all day long. There's nothing wrong with it. But if I know I haven't done anything wrong, and he has to see my ID, I say, here you go, officer. May I ask why you need to see my ID? Well, simple. If he tells you, well, you fit the description of a bolo we had, the guy had hair this way, and he's wearing a shirt that has a green thingy on the front, you look just like him. Well, then that's why he did it. But if he tells you, shut up, you don't need to know, now we got a problem. He just told me, shut up, you don't need to know. Now, do I yell at him and say, what's wrong with you, po? What you mean I don't need to know? Or do I say, yes, officer? Which one should I do? Yes, officer. Because I don't want to, if he's an ignorant wombat, and he means to do me harm, and he's looking for a reason, why am I going to give him one? I let him do whatever he wanted to do. He looked at my ID. I know I ain't done nothing wrong. So when he runs it doesn't matter. And then after all that's done, if I'm young like you, I go home and tell my mother and my father. And then they go down there to the police station with me and we file a report. I talk to my pastor. Put the pastor on the phone, give him a call. I might go out and give him an attorney and have them call and find out why this guy's doing that. And guess what? You are not the first one. When you have that 1% that I told you about was bad officers, 99% are good, 99%, believe it or not, and 1% are bad. Somebody's already told on them. Somebody's already called and said they are bad. But as you know, let me tell you something. People call and have said that I was bad too. Yeah, that's believable. But you wanna know what? I wasn't. I didn't do anything wrong. They were just mad at me because I had their car towed. Or they were mad at me because they were placing handcuffs and taking me to jail. So they make up stories. People make up stories on the police all the time. You wanna know what crooks have in common? They all lie. That's why they're crooks. When a crook's opening his mouth, he's lying. I used to go and do an interview with a crook. Could have been assault, whatever. Okay, Mr. So-and-so, you did this, 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 and this. And they'll say, oh no, I got him on video. And they'll say, no, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. This, that, and the other thing. I got him on video. So I used to tell them, you know what? I'm going to leave for 15 minutes. And I'm going to give you 15 minutes to think up a better lie. And if you can tell a better lie when I get back in 15 minutes, I'm going to let you go. Nobody ever will. And they always ended up telling me the truth. Don't lie. Oh, one thing for your safety and your edification. I am not your friend. If I arrest you and I take you to the jailhouse, and I tell you, listen, I need you to tell me everything that happened because I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to help you. You know that thing they say? Any and everything you say can be used against you in a court of law. So if you tell me something, I can use it against you in a court of law. Now, I'm not telling you that because I want you to try to beat the system. If you haven't done anything wrong, you haven't done anything wrong. If you're a crook, I want you to get locked up. But here's the reason I tell you that. You're young, and even the older people too. If I ask this young lady, what were you doing at 10 o'clock last Wednesday? She don't remember. Most people don't remember. But she says, he asked me, well, you know what? I was at home because it was a school night, and that's where I was. And she's helping me out. Lord, she gets home and she realizes, oh Lord, on Wednesday at 10 o'clock, we were down there at Walmart getting some books. We were getting some books at Walmart because I had to get some stuff for school, and I had to get back home till 11. So now, when I come right there again, wait a minute, young lady, you wasn't at home at no 10 o'clock, you was at Walmart. Oh, I made a mistake. Guess what she just did? She just lied. Even though she didn't mean to do it. Because she wrote her name to it. Because after you get through giving a statement, they say, is this truthful to the best of your knowledge? So if you're dealing with something like that, and you're not sure what to say, you have every right to remain silent. And that doesn't mean that you're guilty. Because if you ask me what I was doing at 10 o'clock 2 Wednesdays ago, I can't tell you. I don't remember. Now, if I go home and I go over my day and I take the time to think about it, I'm not nervous, then I can come up, okay, I did this, I did this, and I did this. Okay, that's it. That's where I was. And then I can give a statement to the police, and it's going to be accurate, and I'm not going to make some mistakes when I give that. Now, that doesn't mean, remember what I told you, if a police approach you on the street, if you don't tell them, I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment rights, and I'm not going to talk to you. What did I say you do? Anybody remember? Yes, officer?
Yes, officer.
Can I help you? Yes. I'm talking about after you've been arrested and you're down at the police station and they're trying to get a statement from you. If you're not certain about where you were or what you were doing at a specific time, don't make up a story or don't try to remember on the spot. Because if you're wrong, I'm going to hem you up because I'm not trying to help you. I'm not trying to do you any favors. I'm not trying to make you a good boy or a good girl. I'm trying to get enough to hang you because that's my job. And I used to be the police, and I'm telling you that. I'm not your friend when it comes to that. Now, out there on the street, I'm your friend. You need my help? I got your back. No problem. But when I'm investigating a crime because this young lady was raped, and you're the fellow that we think did it, I'm going to try to get all the information that I can, if it's true, to hang you. Now, you may look like the guy that did it. It happens. You have people that do things. What was that tennis player just the other day? Yeah, he got jumped on, and guess what? It wasn't him, but it was a guy that just like him. So you have to be careful. You have to understand your rights. And if you don't know them, ask. Look them up. If you want to know more, you get with Brother Butts. Have him contact me. I'll tell you. And if I don't know, I'll call somebody that does, because I bet you I know somebody that does. Any other questions? I'm about to. Oh, okay, go ahead.
You said something about the rape. Now, in high school or whatever, we
date like over a certain age? How old do you have to be to like date some like how?
It doesn't matter how old you are as far as the age is concerned. What matters is sex.
Yeah,
Sex.
consensual.
Consensual sex. I believe in the state of Alabama, the age, it used to be 16 now?
16.
Used to be 14. Yeah, when I was here for, yes, believe it or not, Alabama. But most states got smart and they went up to the age of 16. Here's your problem, folks. Here's your problem. And this just happened recently. First of all, you ain't got no business having sex. I'm sorry. I'm just going to tell you what the truth is. There's a phrase that goes around, I'm sure all of us have heard it said, it's called the baby mama and the baby dad. It has taken the place of the father and the mother because we're making children as children. And then we wonder why our society and our communities are so broken. How in the world can I ask this young boy to grow up and become a young man when he has never known one? He has no father. He has no positive role models in his life. Now, not necessarily him, because he doesn't have an excuse. I'm looking at one. Brother Butts over here. I know him personally. I know what he is. I know he's a role model. And the reason he's here today is because he cares about you. So none of you have an excuse. But there are many people, young people, that look just like you, that have no body. Don't ever forget that. You don't make babies that you don't plan on taking care of. And you young ladies, I gotta say this. Facebook, I don't want to see your backside. I don't want to hear about how many sex partners you've had. I don't want to know none of that, because let me tell you why. When a man is looking for a wife, he is looking for a lady.
Amen.
They will all like your pictures on your Facebook post. They will all tell you how pretty you are, but they will never take you home to visit their mama, and they will never call you a wife.
All right.
It just upsets me so. And you young men, you don't ask those young ladies to do that. You honor and you respect them.
All right.
She is not a sexual object. Do not treat her as such. Our communities are in peril because we make babies like we're hamsters. Now, what was the original question? Because that just got me going.
I can answer this original question. It is 16. The age of consensual sex is 16. You cannot, if you are 16, you cannot have sex with a 15-year-old, 14-year-old and under. It has to be 16. If you do, you can be charged with, it used to be at a time statutory rape, but it is rape. That's rape.
And she's correct. But one thing you have to remember as well, the age of consent is 16. But if you send a picture of yourself to your girlfriend butt naked, and or she sends a picture to you butt naked, that's considered porn. And unless you're 18 years old, you're not supposed to have it. So you can have sex all night, take a picture in the morning, and go to jail for it.
That's right.
All right.
Because it's still called porn. And I say again, you ain't got no business
All right.
doing that.
And because I work for DHR, DFACS, and I see so many cases where you got young girls, 14 and 15 dating a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, and that child, that 17, 18, 19-year-old gets charged with rape, even though they're dating, and there's nothing she can do, but she can press charges against you, not because law enforcement will press charges on you.
That's right. Look here. Our kids in their 30s. We don't have no kids anymore. They're 30-something years old. But let me tell you the truth. If I had a 15-year-old daughter, and you were a 19, 20-year-old boy, and you sniffing around, and I found out that you was messing with my daughter, oh, you going to jail.
Amen.
Oh, you best believe it. And I'm going to tell you before I get you. I'm going to say, hey, what's your name? And they won't, guess what? They got a special place for you down there. And guess what? I'm going to call my friends. And I'm going to tell them to put you in the cell with Brutus. And they're going to issue you some Vaseline before you get there. I'm just trying to tell you. I'm just trying to tell you. no business. My father told me when I was a little boy about his age, he told me men don't make babies with women that are not their wife. He told me that. He said men feed and clothe and care and house their children and their wife. That's what he told me. He said, if you don't take care of your family, you are not a man. Yet I see all these knuckleheads running around, got a baby by this one, and a baby by that one, and a baby by that one over there. Living at home with their mom.
Yeah.
And you little girls, don't think you getting away with it because you got a baby by this one, you got a baby by that one, and then you got a baby by this one. Then you're sitting there complaining about, my baby daddies don't pay no child support. I can't find a good man that will marry me. Why oh why? Well, I'm going to say something y'all might not like it. That's because you're a hoe. And they know men do not want that type of woman for a wife, no matter what they tell you. If you are a promiscuous woman, you will be frowned upon all your days, and all the men that know this from the age of 15 till 50 will see you in that light for the rest of your life. You can never change it. A young man can have sex with every girl in the school. And then when he's 25 years old, he decides, I'm not having sex with all the women in the world anymore. I'm in love with Sally, and I want her to be my wife. And society will say, he has sold all of his wild oats, and now he has settled down, and he wants to be a man. And he'll get a pass, and he can marry her, and nobody will say diddly squat. But you take one of those young girls that he was doing that with, and the men in that community knew that she was sleeping with all the boys, and now she's 25, and she decides she wants to settle down, and she wants to be married. Everybody in this, they're going to tell it, and ain't no man going to marry you.
All right.
But we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to acknowledge that nonsense. We have sexualized our society. You got Nicki Minaj. What does she do? She take her clothes off. You got Beyonce. She take her clothes off. You got Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian is famous because she made a sex tape. That's the only reason we know who this woman is. She is proud to be one of them women. I don't want to say it because I love people. I should have said it last time. But come on, people. Any idiot can have sex. Guess what? Rabbits have sex. Dogs have sex. This little fella. Rabbits, monkeys, chickens. It's not a big deal. You want to conduct yourself like a young man, and you want to conduct yourselves like a young lady. And that's the bottom line. At all times. At all times. If you act like an idiot, people are going to believe you. Now, next question. Anybody else? What you got? Young man, I wasn't thinking when I said that. You know what that is? That's a person who's not very smart. That's what that is. A person who's not very smart.
Don't say it now.
Don't say that. Don't go to school and say that. I apologize. I've got the little people. Yeah, but just remember, it's not a person very smart. And we never repeat that word. You have to be at least 52. Okay, 52. Okay, anybody else? I've had you here for a while. All right, no more questions. Okay, I want to thank you for coming today. And the reason I came here is because I care about you. And I love you. And I don't even know you. And I don't want to see bad things happen to you. The choices that you make in life will ultimately determine your destiny. You can be anything that you want to be. You can do anything that you want to do. And if you find that you do not know, then seek one with knowledge. They will teach you, and you too shall be wise. You guys have a good day.